How's it going, guys? Welcome to another video. Today I wanted to talk about an awesome set of images I took somewhere around last month with the Fujifilm X-Pro1 and the Konica Hexanon 40mm f1.8. Now, these pictures are really awesome because I was using this film simulation recipe called 1979. Now, I don't know if you've heard of this one before, but essentially a creator, I forgot his name, I think it was Craig or something like that, but I'll link it down below, created a film simulation recipe that is meant to, I don't know, emulate those kind of colors, that kind of vibe, that feel. So he called it 1979, and what I found very interesting about this walk I took was that a lot of the pictures I took was of all vintage cars and old looking things that kind of match the film simulation and the vibe it's trying to create. I called this video a walk in 1979. It's a little extra, I know, it was just a walk, but hopefully you guys will find a lot of these pictures enjoyable. I'm going to share some of these pictures with you guys, and I'm also going to kind of talk about this recipe because you guys might want to try it out and see for yourself if you want to shoot with it or like it. Now, this picture I thought was awesome, probably one of the best ones of this day. And it's kind of like a lady in leaves. So I was walking around this almost like business district and I looked around and there was this warehouse that was open. And there was this lady kind of standing perfectly in this little inlet of leaves. So I waited patiently, I manually focused, and I took a picture and I thought it came out really well. So let's start with talking about some of the unique characteristics of this film simulation recipe. Because like a lot of old film stock, they are generally warmer and stuff like that. So this recipe is meant to kind of emulate that. So what I noticed when I was shooting with this on the X-Pro1 was that a lot of the pictures came out very warm. I think in one of the settings you have to change it to 6300 Kelvin, which is quite high. So I think it gave it a really interesting look on some of the pictures. And another thing I noticed was the very saturated greens and yellows. Now, I don't often shoot with saturated yellows or emphasize on yellows. I generally like more of a pastel yellow color. So this was really interesting to shoot with. So overall, this film simulation recipe, I believe, gives a kind of unique summery vibe. It gives a very warm, summery vibe. So if you're going for that, it's going to create a really unique aesthetic and look for your pictures. Now, something else I've noticed was that when shooting with this film simulation recipe, you are going to get a lot of soft images. And now I don't mean soft as in the opposite of sharp. A lot of these images can still come out sharp because of the lens you're using. But what I mean by softness is that there's this kind of haze or dreamy look on a lot of the pictures. Everything is a little flat. The contrast is a little low, and I think it adds to the creative look of this film simulation recipe. Something I also want to mention is that this film simulation recipe was actually made for the Fujifilm X-T1. Now, I'm using it for the Fujifilm X-Pro1 because I thought it was unique, cool, and interesting, and I wanted to try it out. But something to be noted is that these are two different sensors. The Fujifilm X-T1 has an X-Trans 2 sensor, while the X-Pro1 has an X-Trans 1 sensor. So the images you are going to be getting is slightly different, but I don't think it's different enough to the point of being unenjoyable to use. It's still very cool. Now, as I mentioned before, a lot of the pictures I took this day were of vintage looking cars or just older cars. And I love taking pictures of older cars because they carry a certain aesthetic or characteristic to them. So I was passing by one of these mechanic shops and there was this really interesting green car being fixed up on one of the platforms. So I got a few awesome shots of it. Now, I think the film simulation recipe made it look awesome, But something I noticed was that I really liked the Adobe RAWs that came out of the X-Pro1 sensor. So while Fujifilm's film simulations are great, I don't think the ones in the X-Pro1 are as good as the same equivalent ones in the X100V. I actually really like the RAW files that come out of the X-Pro1. I think the colors are really nice. And so if you see these two pictures compared side to side, I edited them both. I actually really like the RAW files much more because I think they carry this kind of sheen to the car with them and this interesting contrast that just looks really awesome. So although the 1979 recipe has a unique characteristic to it as well, I don't think it's suited for shooting in all situations. I think it's really good if you want that characteristic or that aesthetic to your pictures, but I wouldn't use it all the time, obviously. Alright, so hopefully you guys enjoyed those pictures. That is pretty much all I have to share with you guys today. I plan to shoot with the Fujifilm X-Pro1 more. I know I've said that before, but I've just been making a ton of X100V videos because some things just need to get pushed out, as they do. But I've been shooting with the X-Pro1 a lot, so I have a lot of content backed up. So if you guys are interested in any pictures or videos regarding the X100V or the X-Pro1, please do like and subscribe to this channel because I will be making a lot more videos, as I always say. Alright, thanks for watching guys. I'll see you in another video. Peace.